what I want to talk to you about now is what it means to develop a leader in a holistic way. And I think about it this way. You know, we know that leadership development, 80 in some of our research would say 90% of the most important developmental experiences happen when? On the job, right? They happen on the job. We know that's important. That's where when people think about it, they think about these experiences where they have been at the edge of themselves, when they've been in trial by fire, where there's been a very good chance that they'll fail, and a lot of people are going to watch. They're going to have to draw deeply on other people. It's going to be these things that challenge their identity at the deepest levels. We know that's when people recall these things. And I think that's really important. But what I also want to suggest is that when you're developing a leader, and if I'm investing in your development as a leader, that I also have some responsibility for, instead of approaching leadership development saying like this. So if I know that's where it happens, because that's what I talked to a guy on the plane, as I told you last week, and one of the things he said was, you know, that's where it happens, without me even prompting that. He talked about how people learn when they try, when they do. But here's the thing. So if you're just a person, I don't know anything about you, and so then leadership development becomes, let me just throw you in there. Okay, you've got 20 people reporting to you right now, which would be horrible. You've got 20 people reporting to you right now, and if this doesn't succeed, then all their jobs will be on the line. The future of our business is on the line. We throw people in. Well, that sounds ridiculous and horrible, but how often is that happening in our world? How often are software development firms putting software developers into leadership jobs? They're a software developer today, and tomorrow, go be a manager, right? And if we trust that all of leadership development happens, we know that it happens once they get in there. They're going to remember the experiences first time they fire somebody, the first time they fail horribly and publicly when it goes out on email and everybody knows that they made a huge mistake and it cost the company $1 million. People are going to know, right? So we know that teaches things. But is there a better way to prepare people for that step? And what does it mean to develop a person's capacity to lead? And after walking many, many people through the process in a holistic way and looking at a whole person, because I look at every one of you, and those of you that know me know this, that when I look at you and I see this circle of things that surround you that all affect your capacity to lead. I know it's kind of creepy that I see that, but you think about it. What I see is these deeper questions, some of the things that I'll never discover, that it takes someone with much more higher qualifications in the area of therapy to deal with, because for some of us, we have things from our childhood that affect our beliefs about whether or not we are a leader or not, and whether or not we can lead well. And so that's certainly important. There's things about your story that have affected your own calling and purpose, as we've already talked about, that what it is you think you're supposed to do. Every one of you, and I know some of your networks, every one of you has a system of people that surround you. And some of you need more of that, to be strategic about that. Some of you have huge baggage with achievement and goals. I know when you first came here, I know one of the things you were facing was, you know, I've always gotten things done and I've measured my success by what you now describe as your goal orientation, right? And so that's a part of that. Your motivation has been affected by this. I saw this last week in some of your comments. Some of you were talking about the fact that, you know, if you set goals that you can't achieve, it makes you feel gross about yourself. So that what motivates you affects you. What does it mean to invest in you as a leader? And assuming that you as a leader means that you will be responsible for the work and development of other people. Am I then responsible for not only helping you understand how to motivate others, but how to understand what's going on inside of those people so that you could see them as well? And that's the part that is difficult to sometimes to understand, but we do the opposite all the time. We focus on competencies and behaviors. If I can get you to do the right things, then that's the end of the story. And that's certainly important. But if instead of throwing that software developer right into that role, what is it that I would want that person to think about before, so that when they get there, they go, I have no idea what I'm facing right now. But we say to that person, when you get into that leadership role, this is what it might feel like. This is what other people have described. This is the network of people that you need to build now So that you're thrown into the fire, and some of you are going into new spaces where you're going to report these big developmental experiences, but if you can start to build that strategic network now, it changes everything. Some of you have heard this story, but years ago I was playing Halo. This was a video game, and I was playing a particular map. If you don't know what first-person shooter video games are like, yes, I'm a midlife guy who plays video games. And I was playing this game, Halo, and a friend of mine told me the next day, he said, hey, you can go onto the site of the company that owns Halo, and you can actually look, and you can see a map, a three-dimensional map of this area you played in, and it'll give you a bunch of data about how you played. So I go in, and I take a look at that, and I look at the statistics, and I couldn't believe it. I could see every place that something had occurred on that map, where all these 12-year-old kids were taking me out, you know, and all that. And then I realized that the #1 weapon that was being used against me, I know this is so juvenile, but the #1 weapon was a rocket launcher. And up to that point, I didn't realize when I would play this particular map, and this rocket launcher was in the bottom of this map. So it was a three-dimensional, three-level map, and it was in the very bottom. And you started in the top of this map, and when the game would start, I'm just assuming most of the people I'm playing with were somewhere in the teenage years. And so all these avatars would, you know, these characters would run off, and I had no idea where they're going. All I knew is that then I'm getting beaten up by something. So I find out it's the rocket launcher. So the next time I play that game, I went back in, and guess who's running for the rocket launcher? So I run to the bottom of the map, and I actually found there's a hole I could dive through the bottom of the map. I grab the rocket launcher, and I go in and I check my stats the next day, and my scores went up by 25%. So what it made me think was I had spent much of my career up to that point trying to help to invest in the development of leaders, on how to see them, and how to help them, I know this is crazy, but how to help them identify the rocket launchers in their own development and career that could help them not only see themselves, but maybe to measure their success a little bit better. And so that's what I started to invest my time in. What if we could build tools and processes that would do that? And so what I built is a system of tools that you all have seen that is focused on helping people see themselves, the leaders that they either are or could become, and the person that they are, and the people that surround them, and the networks and the experiences they've had, to identify those things, to have some way to take measurement of where they are in that, to see that, and to measure their progress. And those of you that know me would know also that my gamer tag in that world is Bad Bobby. And that's why this process has the name, the whole toolkit lives in a website called badbobby.com. Because here's the deal. You could call something like this Leadership 101, but I know every one of you is as big a mutt as I am. And I'm a mutt because I'm a professor, I'm a musician, I'm a parent, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, I'm a mentor. I used to be a good athlete. And I'm a midlife gamer, online gamer. And I'm proud to say that what I learned from those technologies helped me to try to do this work a little bit better. And so what I hope is that you will continue to look one step deeper as we use these tools this quarter, and to spend the time to begin to see yourself, to see the leader that you are, to help me to see you better, and to share the feedback that you're getting to help get feedback on how you're showing up so that you will begin to build that sense of who you are. Not without any inhibition, but a sense and some courage about who you are. That's the hope that I have, is that you'll begin to feel that as we move through this process.